Not Sky Talk. Welcome to our preview for the Aldershot game on Tuesday night. Goes without saying now, every single game is absolutely huge, isn't it, George?
Yeah, it is. We're going to need the points now more than ever, I think.
Yeah. So I fully expected to be introducing this video as, for weeks I've been thinking we'd be introducing this video as that we'd won and we'd be on our way to Wembley and very high spirits. But yesterday was I don't even say. Now that dust has settled, what do you think?
I still feel the same. I mean, if you watch my instant reaction, I mean, you've got to look, I think, more so at the players. You cannot judge Ian Birchland on it. I think a majority of footballing fans would know you can't judge a manager on his first game, especially a game like that where it's like a semi-final. Quite a lot riding on that. I think when you look at the money that we've come out with, like the cash prize money coming out, losing in the semi-final to get to the final. And you just really have thought he could have put, I don't want to sound degrading to Hornchurch, but he should have been able to put a weaker team out that could have beat them.
I was saying this last night, and I genuinely believe this. You could have put a fan in a raffle and got that fan as a manager, and that team still should have won the game. They could have had no manager, and that team should win the game.
100%. Yeah, agreed.
It's not. The more I look at it, and I don't want to be degrading to Hornchurch, they absolutely battled. They wanted it more than us. But the fact that team lost to Hornchurch, and some of the comments they're put a bit crudely about the weight of some of their players, but it's true. Some of their players were unfit, and they've been giving us a runaround. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm struggling to see anything.
It's poor. Like, it's shocking. Like, we should have beat them. And you can put it down to this, that, the other. These are all these players. These are the bad signings. This team's spineless and that. But it's quite a big change that the club's gone through. The players have had to adapt to that change. You don't really know what sort of support certain players need. Do you know what I mean? I know you're there to play. You got to play for the shirt and that. But football's deeper than that. And as any job, like if someone was just uprooted and left, there is an emotional attachment to that person. Like Ardley, I think, had a good relationship with his players, so I saw. So I thought. No, I know what you're thinking, and I do think that has effect on the players. I don't think you can fully put that down to it because in the black and white of things, we should have beat them with our eyes closed. Really,
you look at it another way though, and the comments flying around on Twitter, there's been some silly comments, but also some that I've looked at and I thought you're absolutely spot on. So we do our 3-word review, don't we? And I can't remember, someone put something in and someone replied, "Oh, well, it's only a trip to Wembley," or something like that. And one of our followers actually replied, "Not to our 13-year-old daughter," I think it was, "that's not seen us at Wembley." That's how much it means to some of the fans.
Exactly.
The opportunity for Wembley was there. If you look at the percentage chance of winning that game, it's probably 95% chance not should have won that. And you've got that situation where you've got children that won't have seen them. We haven't seen them at Wembley.
Well, we haven't been able to be there, have we?
No, it's the chance to see your team at Wembley, and the players know that.
Yeah. So, no, I wholeheartedly agree. And you look across, I've seen someone else tweet something that I quite agreed with, to be honest. You look at the last few years, we lost in the semi-finals of the playoffs to Coventry. We lose in the final last season at Wembley, and then there's another in the playoffs, and obviously we're in the trophy this season. We lose in the semi-final. It just feels like it's a bit embarrassing. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like the club doesn't have any bottle.
You've got players like Doyle in there who you expect to be able to handle any situation. Reeves, who you think could handle it. And there's just, where is the bottle? Where is it? You've lost the league 3 times against a side that haven't played a league game since October.
Yeah,
the more I think about it, the
demand
more.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I really do. We should have beat them. There's no getting around that. But there's obviously a reason we didn't beat them, and it's, I think, emotion. We can't really deal with. I don't know. It's like once we were in front yesterday, we just sat off a little bit. Like once we went 1-0, we sat off a little bit. We didn't have that same intensity, and it's almost a bit complacent. I think this squad can be a little bit complacent when we take the lead.
Yeah.
So that's
100%.
something we're going to need to scrub and get rid of, because if we have that mentality in the league, we're gonna drift right away from where we are now.
Yeah, let's look ahead though. Let's look ahead, because there are positives of that from me. And the positive is it's the players have to now stand up and be counted. They've been embarrassed.
Can I just stop you there though? Like, how many times do you feel like that's happened this season, where it's like, oh, that's it now, we need to strap up our boots and be counted now?
I don't think it's been to this level. They were embarrassed. So the back of all the papers and everything.
It hasn't been to that level, I agree, but it just feels like so many times this season, it feels like, right, this is it now, this is the turning point. Maybe if it's a win or if it's a loss, and it's just never happened. It's just...
Yeah, I think this is worse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. But it's just, it all falls back to inconsistency, I think. It's just shocking.
Yeah,
go on.
I do think, though, I think Birchnell's mentality will help us here, because I think if this happened under Ardley, he would have had a go at them, but I don't think it would have gone in as much. I looked at Ian Birchnell's post-match, and then Charlie Slater asked him what happened on the sideline. And it was Jake Keane, wasn't it? Shouted something.
And he
called him out straight away. He said,
I
don't like that at all, and I've spoken to him. That's good. I do see him as a bit of I've said to you, I messaged you, I said, I'm looking at him in his first interviews, I'm seeing him as a bit of he's got a bit of bite to him, a bit more bite about Ardley, which some of these players need, because when you've got Ardley and you know you can play bad and he'll still put you in the team, this guy's coming in. I don't think you've got your plays necessarily. I think the team was picked yesterday because what other choice did he have other than a 45-minute training session? There's not really another option. He can't bring players in he's never seen. So I don't think players are guaranteed a spot. I don't think any player is guaranteed a spot, which I like, and I do think he'll be calm about it. He'll be calm to players about it, but in no uncertain terms, he will let them know that was a disgrace yesterday. And I think the way fans react on Twitter, I can fully see why they have. I can fully see it.
Yeah, I think same goes for Maurice Ross as well. He looks like he's going to be someone that's not going to take anything. You know, he looks like he's going to have a bit of bite to him, as Birchnell does. So it would be interesting to see how that duo sort of work, because I know Ardley was a big person for protecting his staff and his players. He wouldn't have, like, I watched that yesterday and I had the exact same feelings as you. Ardley wouldn't have called him out like that. And I sort of think now, is that, seeing that little snippet now, is that what people need? Is that what people need to be called out? Even he called Wotton out for missing a big chance. I mean, you could say Ardley would have done that towards the later of his reign at Notts, because I think he was getting a bit frustrated with the players. But after the first game, he's saying Wotton should have put that game to bed.
Yeah.
Big statement. So it'll be interesting to see how the players react to that sort of different approach.
Did you watch his post-match?
Yeah.
Yeah, he seemed very laid back about it.
I think he has to.
But at the end of the day, he knows, and he's not showing it. That's on his record. His record is he's like, that's not good. So, right, we'll look ahead, because I think we've got a game Tuesday, 30th.
Yep.
We've got a game on Friday, huge, at home to Wrexham. Mm-hmm. We've then got a game on Monday away to Woking, who we know, decent side. And that's 3 games in 6 days? 7 days. And for me, by the end of these 3 games, we know what we're fighting for. No two ways about it. I think because there's 17 games left. Yeah. If not drift any further behind Sutton, you've got 14 games. What's 42 points to pick up, and we drift any further behind, you're looking at we're going for the second or third spot. For example, if we lose all 3 games, we've just got to get into the lower part of the playoffs. Yeah. I think we know what we're fighting for after these 3, and then we go to Hartlepool, then we go to Solihull, then we play Eastleigh, who are flying high, then we play Bromley, who are flying high, then we go to Torquay, and then we go to Eastleigh again. That doesn't get much harder, does it?
It doesn't.
I mean, there's no let up. Then we go to Altrincham, who are actually doing okay. Go to Sutton, come to us, and then it's just tricky. But I think after these 3 games, we know where we stand, and I don't know. I honestly don't know what's going to end up in the next 7 days. But
yeah, no, I see where you're coming from. I do think there'll be more to this season than the next few games, though. I know what you're saying, But I think there's so much riding on if Sutton can play the way they have been and keep clawing it back, because you've seen it in the watch along. They were 2-0 down and they've clawed their way back to I think they drew in the end, didn't they? 2-2.
2-2, yeah.
Yeah. So you can sort of see that, and that to me, that's dropping points. It's dropping 2 points to them.
Yeah.
Because, so if they carry on the way they are doing, I can't see them sustaining being at the top for too long. So I think a lot of it is what happens around us, and I do agree though. I know what you're saying. But
I just think it outlines. What we're going to be challenging for.
How many points then from the next 4 games do you think we'd have to take to look like real contenders?
4. So Aldershot at home, Wrexham at home, Woking away, Hartlepool away. I think you've got to beat Aldershot, so 3.
Yeah.
I think you've got to draw with Wrexham, so 4.
Minimum, yeah, agreed.
I think you've got to go to Woking and get a win.
Agreed.
That's 7. And I think to be contenders, you've got to win at Hartlepool.
I think draw at Hartlepool.
That only gives us 8 from 12. Yeah, that's good. That's not bad.
When you consider the stature of the opponents, I think it's a good 8 points from 12, isn't it? I think we have to be looking to get a win from every game, though. I know that sounds like a huge ask, but we have to if we want to secure the. It's not impossible at all. So yeah, no, I agree with the results there, but I think Hartlepool are a bit of a bogey team for us, aren't they? You look at last season's results, especially the away performance. Like, we went to that, didn't we? It was poor. They beat us at our place already this season, so they are a tough side to beat, and Notts tend to struggle against them. So I think a draw at Hartlepool will be a good result.
Yeah. So let's look at tomorrow. Let's look at Tuesday's opponents. So I think it's a good team to play. I do think it's a good team. They played Solihull yesterday and lost 1-0. Now, Solihull for the last 20-25 minutes were actually down to 9 men. If you're playing 20-25 minutes against 9 men, you've got to be looking to equalise 100%. So there is only 2 games on Tuesday night. There's us, and then there's one that doesn't really affect us. I think it's Weirdstone and Solihull. Doesn't really have much of an impact on us. Notts sits 6th, 46 points. Aldershot currently sitting 16th, 11 behind on 35 points. Now, I do see this as a fantastic game. They're not in good form. They've got 1 win in 6 in all competitions, lost to lower league Hereford, and they're actually 7 games without a clean sheet. Now, the way Notts attacked yesterday, not defended, because I'll bring this comment in quickly. It highlights it. All of a sudden, letting 3. But the way Notts attacked, I can see us getting something from Aldershot. They're not a fantastic side. We predict them a bit higher as Ross McCormack came in. He's gone missing. He's just not up for the fight. And actually, they played 2 games more than Notts, and they've conceded 20 goals more. So, yeah, this is a perfect game. Game. It's a game in hand. All of a sudden, if you play a game in hand and you get the win, very, very positive feelings around the club again. And the way this season's panned out, you get a win here, a win there, and all of a sudden, everyone's looking at it differently.
Yeah, 100% agreed.
They've got Josh Rees, a midfielder. Used to play for Bromley. He's got 9 in 29. He's a top scorer from midfield. Not bad at all. I just think I've just got a weird feeling. It's the perfect game for me. Perfect. And in the long run, if it works out, I really do feel like this trophy loss could actually be the making of Notts this season. I know we're going to go on to the score predictions in a bit, and you don't feel that way. Yeah. I really do think could actually be the making of Notts. It's such an embarrassing result. It's not like we thought Kings Lynn was embarrassing, didn't we? The draw. This is massive. So we'll bring a question in before we go on to our team. I'll let you read that one out, George.
What's the one thing that needs to change in the next game? There was a lot of gaps at the back, wasn't there? We mentioned it in the watch along. The space in between, we were playing quite wide, weren't we? So the space between sort of your central midfielders and your centre backs and the wide men was huge, and that was exploited throughout the game. So I think that's got to change. We've got to tighten up a little bit in those sort of margins. But you look at the first 20-25 minutes, I said that as well yesterday. I thought we were really good. We looked really positive. And then it just went from bad to worse from there, didn't it, really?
Attacking wise, though, the width of the fullbacks worked.
Yeah.
And the movement was good. And I sort of agree with what Birchnell said, where once they realised Notts were going to absolutely batter them with the play, they did break it up a lot. There was some big challenges. Now, he's already admitted we've got to adapt to that. But if we can, and if we can keep ahead, there's definitely positive signs. Definitely.
Yeah.
Let's go on to this one. Do you agree our midfield is too weak and we sit too deep? Ooh.
I think at times, yeah, definitely.
I think
for the majority of the game, to be fair, I think our midfield does sit too deep. But I think the reason that obviously Doyle sort of sits deep consistently, Reeves would be more of a move forward with the play sort of player. But I think the reason that we do have a holding mid is obviously to cover for the fullbacks going forward. With that extra defensive player. So I think weak, I don't know. I think they have tendencies, don't they?
There's definitely weaknesses there. 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the passing's been sloppy for weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, really, really poor. I think I mentioned it yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Reeves did a pass literally straight to their player, and I said it's the worst pass I've ever seen on a football pitch. Like they're literally wearing red, and he's picked him out. Yeah. But I think our formation sort of addresses that. And we'll go on to that in a minute. But yeah, so loving the questions that are coming in. We'll just keep going through a few. How does Ian instill more desire in the team? Should that be his job? Keeps them on their toes. Something Arlie didn't do. Simple as that, I think. I think he just keeps them on their toes. I think he says basically no one's got a place here. Because Audley said you have to earn your place. And it actually didn't mean it, did he?
I don't think so.
Because
he definitely had those players that he thought should be cemented into the squad one way or another.
It doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't. But I think he's got to show it, not aggression, but just a little bit of grit. Just say like, look, if you play like that again, this is going to happen or that's going to happen, and really sort of put the blinkers on him a little bit, so to make him realise, oh, hold on a minute, like my position in the squad's not safe 1 week to the next. So
I think I gave him a poor rating on the player ratings. But did Rawlinson struggle so badly as he was playing left side? He was poor.
Was he playing
left side? I can't remember where he was playing, but either way, he was poor.
Yeah, he wasn't up to his usual standard. That's
I mean,
sure.
He should be having those strikers literally easily. All of them should be having it. The defense was pretty poor.
He was playing left side. I remember now. He was playing.
Why? Why change it round?
I don't know. You don't know, do you? You can't say.
I think he needs to improve. I don't know what went on yesterday. But one final thing, just before we get into our team, Tom Walker, Aldershot fan here. Don't expect much from us. We are so inconsistent, it's unreal. Expect you guys to roll us over. We got rolled over by Kings Lynn for 60 minutes, Tom. So I wouldn't say we'll definitely roll you over at all.
And I think we're the king of being inconsistent, if we're going to be honest.
I mean, we can beat Dagenham and Redbridge with 10 men and a midfielder in goal. And then we literally get dominated by Kings Lynn and beaten by Hornchurch. So this game could go either way if we're talking about inconsistent sides. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Always like to have the opposition fans tune in. Should we go on to our team then, George? I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, so we've gone for a 4-2-3-1. Change it up a little bit. Obviously in goal, we've got Slocum, back four, Dion Kelly-Evans, Rawlinson, Ellis and Barnett. Can't really be changed in my opinion. Maybe like I've alluded to earlier in the video, they need to tighten it up a little bit when it comes to the defensive side of things. Obviously close the gap between the centre-backs and the full-backs. But on a whole, I think that's quite a good back four on the day. If they're up for it, it's. I mean, you've got to say it's probably the best back four in the league.
Yeah.
You have to, like, on the day. But sitting in front of the back four, we've gone for Reeves and O'Brien. That is obviously taken into consideration. Doyle's gone off yesterday. It looked like he picked up quite a bad knock. You never really see him go off with an injury, do so it must be sort of a sizable injury, and we're hearing that Matty Wolf's injured as well at the moment.
I would still pick that midfield too without Doyle's injury though. I think Jim O'Brien's been the best midfielder in the past few games. I do.
Yeah, the games that he's played recently, he's been really good. I think really good.
100%. And then so in the 3, I'd have Miller on the left, Enzio on the right, and obviously let them swap around. I'd have Rodriguez playing behind. I thought Rodriguez was good and he was unlucky to come off. And then I'd have Kyle Wootton up top. I think that team should have enough, as it should have enough to beat almost any team in the league. Will it? I don't know. If I was to say, is this our strongest side? You need Carl Robertson there. At the minute, I'd say you need Richard Brinley in there. And then I'm saying you've probably got your strongest. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've got to think about Lacey when you think about the best centre-backs as well. I do think Lacey is class on his day. Obviously, he's a little bit injured, I think, at the minute, isn't he? He's got a little injury. But yeah, I think that is, by the players you mentioned there, probably the best lineup that we have at the moment.
Yeah, I've had a comment. Who's captain in the side if Doyle is absent? I think it's you go Rawlinson. You go O'Brien. Yeah, I think you go Rawlinson. Yeah. Fair enough. I just don't think O'Brien's played enough to captain. But you never know. Managers come in, they change things.
Fresh eyes, isn't it? Very
true. I don't know. If O'Brien had played more, he could have been like one of the first names on the team sheet. I think he's been too hard done by because he's been playing on the flipping wing, like under Ardley, and that's not done him any favours. If anything, that's just put him out of favour with Notts fans because they're only seeing him playing on the wing. And how does he make an impact from that position? I think we've forgotten how good he is. We've forgotten in that relegation season. He's one of the only players that came out with any credit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there we go. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be completely different. So we'll go on to our predictions. George, off you
go. I'm not as optimistic as you might see Tom's going to be. I've gone for a 1-1 draw. I'm wanting to get one. I'm really hoping to be wrong. You know, if you watch our previews regularly, you know I think I've probably, since we started the channel, which it is our 2-year anniversary today, for those that didn't see it, I literally never put Notts to draw or lose. I think I've done it like 3 times since we've done the channel for him to draw. So yeah, I've gone for 1-1. Not feeling overly confident. I'm not pinning it down on anything or anyone. I just think it's quite a shaky, turbulent time at the club, and I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping they bounce back from it and it's a bit of a reaction like Tom's saying. But yeah, that's what I'm going for.
Whatever happens though, this is, as I've said, there's only 2 games on Tuesday. That will be a point gained on people.
Yeah.
It wouldn't, not really on Sutton because they drew anyway. So, but if you look at the table, we've got like 6 games in hand over second place Hartlepool, haven't we? That's mad. 6 games. I think we only need to win like 3 or 4 of those, and we've caught them up. But solid prediction. We've got a 0-0 prediction coming in from Anthony Blackmore. Right, I'll go on to mine. Very different. I'm going Notts County 3, Aldershot 0. I'm going Rodriguez 2 and Enzio. I think under a new manager, I think you'd say to Rodriguez, Carl Roberts is out, go and be that man. Go and be the main man. Show us what you can do. Show the fans what you can do. Get them excited when they come back in the stadium later on, hopefully in the season and next season. I think the manner of the result, it was so embarrassing. It's all over the back page of non-league paper. It's on BBC Sport. It's on Sky Sports. It's everywhere. They're not been beaten by a team of Hornchurch's standard. Fair play to them. They're really good on the day. But I think he's not going to stand for it. I think there's a lot of bite to Birchnell from what I've seen. Even in press conferences where he's asked pretty simple questions, he gives back like a bit of an answer that bites back, doesn't he? I think he's not going to stand for it. And I'm willing to go now and say that that's the turning point in the season. Because like he said, if we get promoted, no one's going to care about the FA Trophy. So for me, it's a 3-0 and it's a statement. It really is. And if we get that 3-0, we gain a lot of ground on teams. And I think we jump up a few places.
Yeah, I think
it'll be nice.
I think I'll be happy as well if we play well. Do you know what I mean? Like if we don't quite get the result and things don't sort of switch our way, which they seem to not have quite a lot this season, especially at the start of the season. As long as you see a good, entertaining performance and we're playing well, you know, it's something definitely to build on, especially if we're tightened up a little bit.
Do you know what though? It is very rare. There's a reason it's a cliche. It's very rare to not get a new manager bounce, isn't it?
Mm.
And I don't think he's been in charge long enough to get a new manager bounce. Like, how can you after a 45-minute training session?
Yeah, he's literally in the door for 2 days.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, carry on.
He's not going to have a bounce, is he? After 2 days, let's be honest.
No, now he's gonna have them. And he's gonna say, "Look, come on, guys, that was terrible. Like, there's gonna be that bounce. I hope there's players in the dressing room that are gonna look around and literally say, like you need leaders as well. You need leaders, and I don't know what the role of Doyle is if he's not being that leader, because you need you need more than him to step up. You need to rally around. You need Jim O'Brien. You need Reeves. You need, I'm not sure what Wharton will be in that situation. You need Ben Turner. You need Slocum. You need to lift it. But I do think 3-0, and I'm fairly confident of a victory. I think we'll see a very different game to what we saw on Saturday.
Yeah, I think Ellis could be a huge leader in the change room. You know,
yeah.
He looks like a real tough character. Do you know what I mean? Like in the interviews he's done and on the pitch, he looks like a good piece of hard work. So I think he could be a good driving force for the squad going forward.
Yeah. Final thing, because this has just popped up. Would like someone to ask the club about our injuries. So like McCrory, Lacey, Brindley. I don't think there's been the communication with injuries has not helped fans. Fans.
No, I think to be fair, I think a couple of the injuries have been quite hard to sort of lock down as to what they are and how long it's obviously going to affect the player for. I don't think anyone's that far away now, to be honest with you. I know that's also vague. Obviously, you mentioned Carl Roberts there. We see him in training. McCrory had a knee surgery, didn't he? And it was like said 9 to 12 weeks, and that was in January. So if you're looking at it now, he can't be too far away. You think if his rehabilitation is going well, which we all hope it is, because I think he'd be a huge asset at the end of the season if we're fighting for a position to move up or go for the first position. I think he'd be great to have for rotation.
You also need challenger places, because Barnett and Kelly Evans right now, Kelly Evans isn't getting dropped for Golden, is he?
No.
So it's been really interesting going into this. Final thing, I'm just going to say yes to this. I think we definitely will see Knight on the bench, and I think he would definitely be involved. I think he could actually be better than we think. From what I've heard, I've heard he's lightning quick. So
that's all
we need that. Yeah, we need that. I've also heard he can assist as well, which is very good, because we don't seem to be fantastic in front of goal. No. But yeah, thank you for joining, everyone. As always, we're going to have a well-deserved rest tomorrow night, aren't we, George? After 5 days of lives. It's been a turbulent week. Only Notts County could have a week like this. They sack a long-serving manager with a massive surprise. We bring in someone no one expected. We lose a game that we were probably 95% likely to win. And the fan base is split. Only Notts County. But keep an eye out for instant reaction on Tuesday night and our player ratings. And as always, thank you very much for joining us on a Sunday evening.